Friends, how are you doing? It is Sunday, Monday, maybe when you're watching this. The money is coming in this week, probably in the stock market. It's looking like it's going to be a good week. This is the week. This is the mother of all weeks for quarterlies. Wednesday, the Feds will be talking. More than likely, we're going to get that rate cut. They'll be talking about what they think they're going to do future-wise. So this could be a very hot week and another record-breaking week with the market and even earnings too. A lot of big stocks reporting earnings this week. SoFi Tuesday. The list goes on and on from big Google, Microsoft, it just goes on and on and on. So I want to talk about Richtech Robotics. A lot of people just ask me. I see the questions, and it's not like I'm some guru here. I've got the same information at my disposal, just like anybody else. I may be a little more obsessed and dig for it more, but that maybe that's why I have a YouTube channel here. So I don't think $10 for Richtech, even at this low point in revenue it's at right now, is that big of a deal. I really don't. So for the person going like, there's no way Richtech can hit the $10. There's no way that Richtech should have hit $7, almost $8 here in this last run. But it did. And that's kind of what, the theme of this whole market is. There's things happening that just don't have to make sense, and you don't have to understand it. You just have to know this is how people are making a lot of great runs in the market right now. And we're seeing this over and over. We're seeing these high pushes in the market, massive sellout, just people, just taking massive profits, and then the market reloads. It's just the same old. And more than likely, this is what's about to happen here in the next 2-3 weeks, and then probably somewhere mid-November, the market will dump again, reflush cycle. Here we go. People load back up. Here we go into December. Now the rate cut, last push of the year, boom, another record. That's probably where the market's, what it's doing here, and obviously this week we'll get a lot more guidance on that. So right now, the main thing that I want to say here is that Richtech this week, this is the thing. So Richtech, well, Nvidia more than not, is having this big old conference thing this week. You can still buy tickets if you need to, but it's from October 27th to the 29th here, and it's in Washington, D.C., and Nvidia is leading up this huge thing. Now with this, Nvidia is going to be talking about the chips, about their software, the future, where they see going, but they're also more than likely going to be talking about robotics, and Richtech is supposed to be here and essentially showing off some products, some stuff here. So this could be a wonderful moment for Richtech, where we see just a week of great movement in the market, a comeback in the market, Richtech getting a lot of great aggressive articles out there about it, getting the juices flowing again here, with people getting psyched about it. So obviously Richtech, Nvidia, they have a partnership, Richtech using their chips, and this will obviously, I think, continue. This will grow. Jensen here himself has come out numerous times this year and talked about robotics, that he thinks robotics is the next $10 trillion market, just a crazy market cap on robotics. And that's why we're starting to see Richtech specifically get a lot of attention here, because Richtech, Nvidia working together, but robotics stocks, companies in general, are getting a lot of attention. And two, Optimus about to be released to the public here in 2026, for private use, and businesses buying it. So there's things. I'm stuttering now. There's things changing here. Richtech is going to have a hot week, more than likely. So let's look at the candlestick chart here and really look at this right now, because I think this is great. Now, I've showed this candlestick chart here, but it's very, very interesting. So the last run we had here, trying to make it up to $8, just fell short of a few dimes and quarters here. Richtech had 5 big pushes here within a 2-week period. Okay, then we had the sell-off. The whole market sold off. Obviously, Trump started tweeting stuff. Jerome was saying stuff. The market was just selling off. We had tariff more conversation with China, all that. It was just a dramatic 2 weeks. Okay, well, at the end of this last week here, the market started to come back. We had the the inflation report come back, not so bad. Okay, hey, here we go. Now the last, two trading days, really three, we'll say, just to fight. With Richtech here, we've had these two large pull-ups here, where Richtech has pulled back up into this low $6 range, this 1-2 right now, looking like we're going into another teacup, cup and handle motion here, where here we go. So I think if Richtech can pull off this week with good news, good articles, following suit with the market, how long will this take for it to get some push in the market? Generally, everything will probably do better later in the week. That's probably what's going to happen here. But the next push in Richtech undoubtedly could be in this $8, $9, $10 range. That is probably what we're looking at here. I think more than likely that's where investors are pushing it, the retail investors. Wall Street's kind of bought at the moment. We've seen Wall Street buy up as much Richtech as they're going to right now. Now I think it's turning into a situation of where just a lot of us, the investors, Joe Schmoes here, coming in and buying up Richtech, and there's obviously going to be news this week. There's going to be some kind of news this week for Richtech. I mean, it's just happening. So that's short moment here. That's the short burst. Now, asking, what does the next 5-10 years look like for Richtech? Well, obviously, I don't think any of us know that. What I do think, what we are looking at from what little bit of evidence we can see right now, is that the robotic market itself, is starting to ramp up. Okay, but the robotic market in the stock market, and getting the attention that it's getting, is getting a lot, more broad. This is why Richtech is getting a lot of attention. So for the person saying, well, Richtech's not making a lot of money, why would I buy something at $6-7 right now when it's not making that much money? I totally get that. Long term, Richtech's really going to have to turn some numbers here. Now, that is very possible. 100%, because obviously they are pushing into the service sector with robotics, and this is why Nvidia is looking at them and helping them out, because they know really, Richtech is really deep in this right now, where they are kind of the first robotic company to really push into this, and they started in such a prime location in Las Vegas. So with that, they have prime area to really, how many hotels are in Las Vegas, how many restaurants are in Las Vegas, how many hotels are, I think I said casinos. What do I say here? There's a lot to be had here. Now, with Richtech here in Nvidia, I mean, this is a relationship built in investor having at this point. Okay, so I looking at prior engagements, investments that Nvidia has made with companies. When they make investments with companies, we've seen them come back and do a double, triple push in with investments. Now, this is really more of like a partnership, what we're seeing here, where Jensen he's openly talking about the robotics market. He's obviously talked about Richtech here, but with them using each other right now, I do wonder how more aggressive this relationship can get. And I could see it getting a lot more aggressive. I could see Nvidia coming in here and making a hefty investment in Richtech. Now, a lot of people are going, well, why doesn't Nvidia just buy Richtech? We see Nvidia do this every year, where they come in and they find certain AI companies and they invest in them when they know they're going to work. We've seen this time and time again. And they do this every year. They don't stay forever. They put an investment in. They usually pull it out within 6 to 12 months later, and they get their money. When you got so much money like that, you can, you can afford to sit in an investment and, take a risk, and it's worked out for them dramatically. So Richtech here, short term, I think this is going to be chum in the water. I think we're about to see a feeding frenzy coming here this week, these next 2 weeks especially. But long term, yeah, I mean, I definitely think this is something you should watch. And obviously, cat out of the bag here. I mean, you can't hide what this is. Richtech, yes, we've got to see them start nailing down some quarterlies. But the good news is too, they have received a couple of deals this year that should push up their quarterly here in January aggressively. So if we could see Richtech start off 2026 with a great fourth quarterly, man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would really get things flowing here into the year with Richtech. So friends, just look out. I don't know when news will pop up here about Richtech and being at this event. Obviously, the market will open up here Monday, and this will be a very interesting week in the market. It's going to be a good one. So if you want to see more about this, just type this stuff up. The Nvidia thing, Richtech. I mean, you can go on their Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and find this stuff. It's not hard, but there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this week. So watch Richtech. I highly expect the day traders, the swing traders, the long-term traders to be viciously buying and selling Richtech this week. It's going to be an interesting fight in it. Friends, I want to wish all of you the best of luck, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.